Hey guys, it's Britta, and it's time for our first sleepy chat. So, here we go. Overall, I thought that The Weeping Lady was it was a great episode. It was a great episode, especially for Crane character building. It was like the veil is finally gone. But I mean, it's kind of sad because Ichabod is like a puppy dog to me. So it's kind of like watching a kid realize that Santa doesn't exist. Kind of sucks, but necessary. Because if I had to sit through another Katrina is the greatest witch, I'm not here for that. So I think one of my favorite things about the Weeping Woman episode was Caroline and Crane. I think that it's so fitting and so awesome of the writers to have Crane become best friends with the local reenactment group. That's pretty much genius. Not to mention, Caroline is played by the same actress who plays Jane Bennett in the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. So Whimsy Gals unite. Yeah. I found that I was so excited for whatever reason. I don't know. They just filled me with glee. And then she died. Really, Bob? Really? I don't know why it didn't seem to me that she would. It's fairly obvious, seeing as the Weeping Woman is just standing all over Ichabod. Just anybody. Say hi to Ichabod, you die. It just seems like Crane throughout his life just has a really hard time choosing women. They're all semi-psychotic. I love the special effects that the Sleepy producers used for the Weeping Woman, because she was type scary, like on a what is that? The Grudge, on a Grudge scale. Kind of scary. I will say though, I think that I was more scared of the preview than I was necessarily whilst watching, because there was too many things going on. When Abby looks like she's about to die, I'm not here for that. That's something I'm not here for. But I will say this, I think Crane needs, or maybe this was it, maybe this cured him, but I think that Crane needed to experience more times where out of his realm of power, Abby is in danger, because finally he realized in this episode that they cannot continue, not they, who am I talking about, that he cannot continue to choose Katrina over Abby. I don't understand why it's taking him so long. I mean, I get it. He's married, yes. He's supposed to love his wife. Yes, I'm all for the love, absolutely. But they're witnesses, okay? They're supposed to be the two people that save the world. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because I'm gonna post this in the Tumblr tag. I'm sorry guys, it's something about like speaking out on video. Either way, they need each other more than anyone else. That means when the time comes, if Jenny ever gets in the way of the point, Abby will have to make the painful decision of distancing herself from Jenny. As we've seen, she is willing to do. As painful as it is, she's ready for the sacrifice. But Crane, he's just hard in the head. I don't understand. There is a user on Tumblr called the Nikki Bihari posts, picture posts, I think, who made a good point on the Sleepy Hollow tag, which basically said they always kind of have Abby just kind of shake off whatever happens to her and keep it moving. Now on one end, I admire that in a character because it definitely shows that like she understands what the gravity of the situation is. She's not gonna whine about it because there's no point in whining about it, and she's here to do the job, let's do it. But on the other side, you can't just have her just taking one for the team. Just like a few episodes, we had Jenny in jail taking one for the team again. If anybody doesn't need to go to jail anymore, it's Jenny. So at the end of the day, to bring it back to Abby, I'm looking forward to the episode where Abby finally kind of has it out with Ichabod. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a crazy dramatic lifetime moment, but it just needs to be this is what happened. Last year, you let me stay in purgatory. You left me there. Okay? And then she can just walk away and they can continue on with their time. But I feel like it needs to be addressed, otherwise it's always going to be there. I'm looking forward to all the moments they promised us about Crane having to basically re-earn her trust. I loved that he and Holly were kind of like, well, not necessarily fighting, but there was that tension there. And of course, Holly has to do the mouth-to-mouth. Of course. What else is he there for? But I will say that I'm loving how Holly manages to give Ichabod PMS in every episode. But yeah, I love Crane's reaction about Abby almost drowning. Because he only says Abby when, everything's hit the fan. He only does it when the world is about to end. And I feel like he went immediately back to business. Not saying that I'm expecting anything more to happen necessarily, but come on, dude, she almost drowned. Give me a break, dude. She almost drowned. Like, she just finished her checkup with the doctor, and already you're just like, Lieutenant, I found something that we can use for our mission. Yeah, Ichabod. I am an Ichabod shipper. Proud Ichabod shipper. However, if Ichabod's going to be chasing after Katrina every 5 minutes, saving Katrina every 5 minutes, every other episode, we're saving Katrina. I think that was one of the things that disappointed me slightly about this episode. That, like, instead of the Weeping Lady being for Weeping Lady's sake, it turned into we gotta save Katrina. But the payoff at the end is finally seeing that Katrina has some flaws. For the past season and a half, it's been, let's save Katrina because Katrina can't get out and make it out for herself. That kind of drives me insane. It's like the first episode, okay? Ichabod manages to find some mystery sulfur and blow himself out of the coffin. Okay. Jenny, as a human being, manages to attack her assailant and get out of Henry's clutches. Okay, great. They go in and they get Abby out of purgatory, and she's fighting in purgatory. She's not just sitting there, cowering in some kind of hole or whatever. She's doing things. And then Katrina is just trapped. And she's the only one with power, the witch with momentous ability. Really, Ichabod? No, she doesn't know. Now, it's nice to see this episode that she's using gumption. She seems like something is starting to grind again with the powers. But what gets on my nerves is it seems like only Katrina would begin using her powers to have it double back in her face. You send Ichabod the love note. Fine, I'm here for the love. Of course you want Ichabod to know that you're okay. But I thought the whole point of you being with the Headless Horseman is you wanted to be a mole to help the witness team. Not send him love notes. That's sentimental. That's awesome. Say my love, I'm fine. And then say, this is what's going on. This is what I heard from Henry and them talking to the enemy and them talking to everybody. This is what's going on. Do we get that from Katrina? No. I'm loving that this time it pushed the story to some revelations about her that we would have never gotten without the Weeping Woman. She's crazy. Don't get me wrong. She's crazy as all get out. Okay, I'm not for the Weeping Woman, but I am for Mary. Okay, when she's basically pointing Katrina out, basically saying Katrina killed me, and I'm also for the speech that Mary gives her when they do the flashback. It was an awesome speech because how do we know that Katrina didn't enchant Ichabod? Sure, I feel like it's a little it's grasping for straws slightly, but how do we know? I feel like she knows more. I mean, it's obvious at this point that she knows more than we know. She spent all last season saying there is a great evil. Run, Ichabod. And I was finally for it when Ichabod is just like, I'm not here for you lying to me about this situation. You lied to me about Henry, you lied to me about being a witch, you lied to me about Washington. That's 3 lies already, dude. Let's add more, okay? And I'm sure that they're gonna make Katrina to be better. Obviously, there's some sympathizing to be had about why she denied Ichabod of all this to protect him. But in the interim of things, why are you trying to protect the witness from something? It's not like it's not going to come flying back at him in a violent way. Him and Abby, as we can see by Abby almost drowning and Caroline is dead. Give me a break. And then the thing is, even if Mary decided to go on Maury in the middle of the woods and just confront Katrina, mad in her personal space and all kind of, which I thought was hilarious. I was even like, okay, dude, you need to please calm down. Calm down. She goes flying off the cliff, hits her head, and dies. You'd think that it would be Katrina's duty to then say, Ichabod, she kind of took a flying leap off the cliff, which sounds really ridiculous in the first place because it would more sound like you pushed her, but either way, that's questionable. It's questionable. I was listening to the SleepyCast, the official Sleepy Hollow podcast with Clark Wolf, and I think it was one of the writers who was basically saying, along with Katrina explaining in the episode, that because Ichabod doesn't know how to take these fits of emotion, he would have never been able to follow through on his being a witness if he had known what happened. Fine. I believe that because it's true. He's entirely too, well, this is a case which would be emotional for him. Of course it would be emotional for anybody. But I think that Katrina writing a note in Mary's penmanship makes her a suspect. Because what the freak are you trying so hard to hide really? Because my thing is enough that, she might have passed on, whatever, but dude, really? And you heard her threaten him, and so now you're trying to cover it up with a freaking note? Which makes it even look worse, like, dude, did you trip her? And then she accidentally falls across the cliff. I don't understand, because, really, Katrina? But then the questionable thing happens towards the very end of the episode when Jenny is in Holly's little spot. She's beautiful, she's beat for Jenny because we're used to seeing her in khakis and her little jacket. She's always on the run. She's always prepared to fight. This time she got her hair. She's doing a cover girl. She's obviously flirting with him. We all thought that the open flirting would be Holly towards Abby, but yeah. I had heard some speculation way before season 2 started that Holly would drive some sort of wedge between the Mill sisters. I don't know how accurate this speculation is, but I think that they're doing the very thing that no one's excited about because we kind of wanted, well, I can say I kind of wanted Abby and Jenny not to be fighting over a guy. They've already had so many things trying to come up against them anyway. Just a few episodes ago, if not last episode, or no, it was like 2 episodes ago, they were fighting over Abby not telling Jenny about the sheriff and how closely tied she is to their mom. Do we really need any more wedges between them? They've got 13 years of building to do. We don't need Holly messing this up. I don't know whether Jenny is really in love with him or just likes to flirt with him, But I have a feeling if they're moving this in the direction that I think that they're gonna move it in, this is gonna serve to be yet another thing that Abby has and Jenny doesn't. It's bad. On a Crane and Caroline tip, I think that somebody out there should come up with a way where we do some kind of Sleepy Hollow reenactment colonial style situation, because I loved everything about Caroline. I love that she has her I Heart Founding Fathers mug, even though it would be a little bit weird for me to get the I Heart the Founding Fathers knowing the history. Nevertheless, I loved all of that. I loved that she came with a fully kind of, she had all these different variety of garments and clothing and jam and butter that she churned herself, and some kind of pillow that I can't remember what it was, but I'm totally into all of that stuff. I love the specificity and little details like that, because I don't know, living in back then is fun. The thought of living back then anyway would be fun. So somebody should come up with that. Go ahead. And I submit the girl who moderates Crane and Mills. I think it's called Crane and Mills, where I will link it in the down bar, the actual link to the Crane and Mills website. But she does a scarily phenomenal job at role playing at both Abby and Crane. Her messages though for Crane, they should be published. I would buy it because I don't know how she does it, but she has a talent, so I nominate her. Yep. I heart colonial life. Sometimes. Well, as long as you can buy Crane, you get it. Alright, so that was the end of the Sleepy Cast. I really had a good time watching the episode. I had a good time airing out my loves and frustrations with all of you. I have some recommendations because I love listening to podcasts, especially after work. It's like my weekly thing that I do that I look forward to. And I always listen to the AfterBuzz Sleepy Hollow podcast, which is, those folks are awesome. Like, they're absolutely awesome. I don't know, like I feel like they kind of turned me on to after show podcast period, and then I moved on to the ladies of Welcome to Sleepy Hollow. They are absolutely awesome. Like, they both have such keen insight. They're moving in, they're smart, they're hilarious. It's fun to fangirl with them. And I do listen to the official Sleepy Cast because it's fun to also listen to writers' analysis of their own work and interviews from some of the cast. That's always great. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, perhaps you'll see me next week to do another crazed kind of off the cuff ranting about what happens in the next episode. Thank you so much. Hugs and love. Bye.